Plan A, 4th of July car show. Yeah. This looks like it's set in for a pretty good bit, and I think the car show was supposed to end about 1, 2 maybe. So, let's move on to Plan B. Let's see. So that brings us to Plan B. Plan B is come out here in the shop, work on some stuff. But before we get too vested in this, I do owe somebody a thank you because Mr. Mofo Driver sent me a poster. I'm gonna go over here and show it to you in a second. It is just awesome. I love it. Took me a half hour to get through all the tape and packaging, but you know, blowtorch, weed chipper, sawzall, grinder, I did it. So hang loose here a minute. I'll show you the poster and then we'll get back to what we're working on today. Mr. Mofo Driver sent me this really cool poster. I got it right beside my little workstation with my TV and stuff where I spend quite a bit of my time. I think it's really neat. And I really kind of hope maybe one day we can hook up and we'll cruise one of the old cars along with his, and maybe we'll meet halfway or something and find a car show or something. But right now, I need to get some other stuff done, but I will be sending you a message or something there, Mo. So let's get back to what we're doing today. So, we all know this guy that takes a fairly simple project and finds a way to blow it completely out of the water. Make it take forever, find the hardest possible path from where you are to where you want to be. You know, go around the world to go a city block. If you don't know that guy, hi, I'm Joe, glad to meet you. And that brings us to the story of the Junkyard T. Quick recap, you know, the Junkyard T was something that a friend of mine bought. It was not functional. We're just gonna leave it at that. There's a couple videos out there on it. One of the videos, I had kind of boldly stated that if I could get that engine to run, the car would live. So the engine ran, and in my mind, the car was going to live. My original plan was to beef up the frame because I really kind of like the old T frame, and get it running, get it safe, get it functional. But a couple fellas, you know, had reached out to in that video and said, you know, that frame will just never work. It's not strong enough, it's too narrow. And one of those guys was Rocker Pat. Now, I've never met Mr. Pat personally, but I've followed his videos and stuff for I don't even know how many years now. I've seen him go out of his way to help people. I've seen what he does in his shop, and I know him well enough to know that he's not a keyboard warrior. And if he's telling me this won't work, it's probably because he knows it won't work and he wants to save me from making a screw up. So I took Mr. Pat's advice. A friend of mine is more into restored cars, and I reached out to him, said, hey, I got this old frame. There's nothing I can do with it. So, you know, you got something going on where you could use it or parts of it, I'll be more than happy to give it to you. He seemed pretty happy about that because, you know, honestly, with the exception of what, you know, the butchery that had been done on parts of it, it wasn't a bad frame. So I took that over to his house. He's got it sitting there waiting on his next project. So now then, I've got a fiberglass body and no frame. A normal person, not me, would probably, you know, get in the catalog, start checking out a I don't know, Speedway, Summit, Jigs, whatever. Order a frame kit, slam it together, and drive their car. Nami. I went ahead, I put the body in the shed. I actually was kind of thinking, you know, one of these days I'm going to have to admit or make a video where I admit that this car probably ain't going to go down the road as well as I thought, or like I thought, or as soon as I thought, or whatever. And then I got a friend reached out to me. He said he's got a project that he abandoned. He had already sold the body off of it, some of the other parts. And he had a pretty decent frame, but it's not a T-bucket frame. But if I was interested in it, he'd sell it to me for a reasonable price, and you know, see if I can make it work. Well, I went and looked at it, and I mean, it had a lot that I liked. Some of the disadvantages of it was too long for a T-bucket, and in the back that it was too wide. But I thought to myself, let's see what we can do. So hang on here a minute. Let me flip you around here and we'll start from there. So now then, here's what I got. I'm not exactly sure the original intent of this frame, but it wasn't intended for the project of the guy I got it from when it was originally built. It's not really, or it wasn't really designed to fit this project. But we went ahead, I got it, I brought it home. Like I said, it has, you know, a real nice front end on it. We got a 6-inch, sorry about the things, mess. We got a 6-inch drop spindle in the front. Same 305 that was originally in the Junkyard T. We got a nice little Z in the front of the frame. We got a Z in the back of the frame. We raised her up a little bit more where that will go into the bed of the T-bucket and still save, you know, some room to sit in the cab. But as you can see, we went ahead and shortened up the frame. Brought it in about, I think it was 3.5 inches in the back. The body should go over that pretty well, I think. Denny's on his way. We're gonna set it on there. I've still got some capping and stuff to do. You know, box or, you know, cap off the frame where I've cut bits off or welded new pieces on. But I think this will make a pretty nice riding little chassis. Couple situations with it were that the original motor mounts, when I set the engine and transmission in there, the pans were like 1.5 inches off the ground. All right, I just recorded about 5 minutes of y'all watching my finger. That'll learn me to pay attention. So let's kind of start with this again. Some of the things that I liked about the frame when I seen it was it's got a 6-inch drop spindle in the front, disc brake. It's got a really nice little Z at the front of the frame, really nice little Z at the back of the frame. We kind of stair-stepped it a little bit in the back so that when the body goes on, this part will fit up inside the bed of the bucket, what there is of it. And I'll still sit low enough in the cab where that Z is. Triangulated 4-link, just got it set up. You can see I haven't quite finished, or I haven't welded the bars together just yet. But what I'm going to do right now, since it's not real good car show weather, is I'm going to go ahead and, you know, I got to close up some of the bits where I've been working and make that look a little bit better. And then Denny's coming over here in a little bit, and we're actually going to fit the body back down on the frame. I need it there so I can figure out the steering. I've got a Vega steering box. It's set up for crossover steering, but I got to I think that I got to lower that tie rod down a little bit, set it more in the center of the drag length than where it is almost towards the top, because I think that's going to cause me some problems. But once Denny's here and we set the body on the frame, which we had it a couple times as we was going through doing the restructure of the frame, I'll hopefully be able to push it outside and we can take a look at what we got and see what you think. All right, so today's Friday. I was really hoping to put this video out yesterday, but the day got long and Joe got tired and time got short and all that kind of stuff. So Denny came over yesterday and we finished welding the frame. We ended up, I don't know how much, if I ever told you how much of the frame that I took out of it, but we took about 16.5 inches out of the back half of this frame. And then once, you know, I was satisfied with the way that was looking, we spent a good bit of the day getting this body where I wanted it to set. So I was really hoping to kind of push it outside, do a walk around. As it turned out yesterday, it was raining. I pushed it out about long enough to get a still picture that I'll put in at the end of this video. Maybe I'll show a still picture of it when, you know, it first came, and then this one. But I had it outside just about long enough to sweep the floor, clean up the shop a little bit. I still got to do my benches and stuff, put some tools up. But sweep the floor, you know, and then roll it back in. So I'm going to show you the way I want this car to be. It's not the idea I originally started out with, but I honestly think that it looks pretty damn cool. So onward and up. So here it is. This is the new version of the Junkyard T. Like I said, this wasn't what I originally started out thinking I was going to do with the car, but this is kind of where we're at. This is kind of really just a mock-up, and while the body's on it, I want to get the steering figured out and placement of the brakes and stuff inside the cab. But as you can see, I think we got her sitting down about as good as you're going to get it. Like I said, I'm sorry that, you know, this isn't an outside picture, but it's raining and I want to limit the time and the moisture. As you can tell, you know, we cut the living heck out of things. You're always in the way. And to get it to set where I wanted it to set. But I decided that since the original frame wasn't going to work, I had access to this frame at a really good price. And I just thought it would be neat to build a super low T. So hopefully y'all like it. Tell me what you think. I'm pretty strong. I can take it. I think it looks pretty darn. So I'm going to end this video here. I'll pop a quick picture in of the car when it first came to the shop, just so you can kind of see what it was. And then I got one of it sitting outside with one of the side pipes kind of braced or propped up against it. So you'll see kind of what the end goal is going to be. So I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to take a break. Today is the 5th of July. We're actually having our celebration tomorrow, so I need to get the shop ready for people to come over and have a little celebration, and need to go get some boomages and probably some beverages and whatever kind of edges that it is that I need to get. I hope you all had a good 4th. I hope you all have a good weekend, and I will catch you all later.